Peace, everybody. Back at it again. This is Crimson with another episode of Mental Modification. Just wanted to pop in real quick. Something that I just got from Spirit, and I feel like a lot of people, whoever is listening to this, somebody can benefit from this and help them on whatever path they're on. Is the idea of unconditional love. I'm gonna try not to be long right now, but I'm not gonna put a cap on the message as well. Unconditional love. Now, of course, conditions are, they're not rules, but they're sort of guidelines by which something must operate, or something must function by, right? Conditions are raised, or conditions come up when conditions are pretty much, you could look at them as barriers in a negative sense, but in a positive sense, or really objective sense, conditions are boundaries, right? And boundaries to the point to where these must be in place in order for a relationship to go into effect. Conditions are pretty much like your job requirements. For example, if you apply for a job, they might consider qualifications or job requirements, but those are the conditions you must meet, or you must be able to operate under these conditions, or understand these conditions in order to be fit for this job or whatever. And so we usually, in terms of relationships, we consider, and I know this is a perspective that we, especially Black people, especially dealing with the conversation in terms of Black men, Black women, healing ourselves, from the traumatic responses that we have been projecting onto each other, but really not for each other. It's just towards your oppressor, towards your sense of helplessness within yourself, right? And in this conversation, normally, and pretty much within gender roles in general, a woman, in order for her to feel secure, in order for her to submit, because a woman is receptive, right? Seeing the pussy is, just keep it real, as a whole, right? And that is like a black hole, right? And that's the zero, right? And the male having a penis, an erect dick, is the one, right? Binary code dealing with computers, 1 into the 0, right? But dealing with the black hole, the pussy, the woman, the divine feminine, you're dealing with order. Order must be set in place, because pure chaos, that's why a woman and a man are complements of each other, because a woman being receptive, being emotional, being intuitive, being feeling oriented, in order to deal with this construct called humanity, some order has to be set in place. It does not mean that feelings are wrong. It does not mean that intuitive urges, impulses, ideas, notions are wrong. It doesn't mean that feelings are wrong. Energy in motion is how you sense. Energy in motion is how you literally feel. Energy in motion is how you literally guide yourself. If you did not feel, what the fuck would you be? How the fuck would you be able to guide yourself? You know what I'm saying? This is even, get off of humans. This is even in the quote unquote animal kingdom, right? Animals, insects, all that shit. If there's no ability to feel, or there's no ability to sense, how the fuck do you know, or how can you understand your environment around you, right? So there's nothing wrong with the feminine being able to feel, or her having feelings. There's nothing wrong with chaos, but to bring order to that chaos means to bring conditions to that chaos, right? Not rules, not the idea of patriarchy, just to guide that chaos, guide that flow, guide that water in a direction to be to grow, to evolve, and to build upon that, to go past what is, to go past the current state. Because just think about it, water. I don't know if any of you niggas been to damn New Orleans. I don't know if any of you niggas is from New Orleans. I know from personal experience. The first time I went to that place, the first time I stepped out the goddamn Uber, the first thing I smelled was what? Fucking stagnant water. That shit stinks. And hey, yes, that's just me. I don't know if people get, fetishized with that shit or whatever. Stagnant water smells good, whatever. Float your boat. I don't give a damn. But the point I'm saying is, water is good. The flow of water has a lot of potential. But if it is not moving, especially if it is not guided in a certain direction, it becomes stagnant. And this is the mindset, or the psychology, or the symbology behind overthinking, right? Because remember, water holds, we're going to get the conditions. Water holds memory. You've seen that in the experiment. Japanese scientists. Let's look it up. I'm not going to leave y'all y'all can go look it up, but I'm gonna make it. Here it is. Masaru Emoto. This was the dude that did the water the experiment on water, basically proving that water holds memory, right? It's been known, but in terms of science, right? Studies, research to actually prove it and to show it, water has memory. And water holds memory, right? And so seeing that memory is like water, when you go through a situation, when you get triggered all of a sudden, and when you keep going over and over and over in your head about the same shit, right? You're pretty much in a stagnant pool of water, right? Because this is how some try to exercise control over their environment when they were out of control, right? Because it's natural for you, especially as a child with your imagination, for you to be in control of your reality. And the more and more you go into humanity, the more and more you get told to shut the fuck up, go sit down somewhere, stop playing so loud, I'm gonna need you to be quiet right now, go into timeout, all this damn shit that you go through childhood, that it keeps dumbing you down into a human. All that shit puts you in a state of depending on something outside of yourself, right? And it puts you in a state of still, even though you're depending on something outside of yourself to guide you, your parents and human and shit and all of that shit, you still have that natural tendency in your mind to be able to control your reality. So how do you exercise that control? By anything that happens to you, even if you didn't know, through your ignorance, you don't know how to respond to it. So the best way that you go to respond to it is within your own mind, right? But at the same time, since you don't know how to really deal with your emotions, most people grow up with parents with that don't know how to show them how to not feel your emotions, but how to feel your emotions and try to understand why you're feeling the way you do. When you go through this process ignorantly, what the fuck do? You seek to get back. You seek to control that situation by remembering that situation in that pool. You remember the situation perfectly. Why? Because you just went through the fucking shit. But when you were helpless, when you felt like, oh man, I don't know how to feel. I feel angry. I feel frustrated. I feel anxious. I feel like I feel like I want to slap the shit out of somebody. Instead of dealing with the situation maturely and out of intelligence, you're dealing with it out of ignorance. So when you deal with that, you try to exercise control of that you go through that illusion of control by debating, arguing, going through the same argument over and over again. Ooh, what could I have said? Ooh, what could I have gone through? Or what could I have said? Ooh, man, I would have backed her into a corner with that shit. She wouldn't know what to say. She wouldn't have known what to say. Huh? Ooh, that bitch had it coming for her. Little did she. Oh man, she a lucky motherfucker. Goddamn. I would have gave that nigga an aneurysm on sight, nigga. I wouldn't even had to slap her. All this shit that you go through in that situation gives you the illusion of control, but it deals with water, and that's how powerful memory is, right? So to bring order to that chaos, or for that chaos to accept order, which what I was saying in terms of relationships, in order for that chaos to accept order, to accept guidance, that tool or that instrument of guidance, in this case, the man, must not only have his own set of conditions, but he must meet the conditions set by her, right? Because the pussy is the prize. The pussy is the prize. There's so many, I done seen so many, and this is just me, in my perspective, I done seen so many niggas say, oh, the woman should go first. The woman should pursue the man. The woman should, why can't she shoot her shot? It's the natural order of the man to prove himself. To prove himself to the woman. To prove himself to the divine feminine. There's no need for a woman to come outside of her softness, her femininity, into the world of stress, which you're fucking built for, man, divine masculine, in order to find a man, in order to find guidance, in order to feel safe. A man must prove himself, right? And so under these conditions, a man must meet conditions. That's why a man, if he is not consistent in his nature, if he does not seek to be consistent in providing, in supporting, in guiding, if he does not seek this to be not just for his woman, in himself first, there's nothing that you can do for a woman if you can't do nothing for your goddamn self. And I know some of the women like, yes, bitch, yes, teach. No, because there's two sides to this. But in regards to conditions, yes, the man must meet conditions for himself before he can give conditions to a woman to bring that to her. Because if he does not bring, or if he does not set requirements for himself, set goals for himself, set some things for himself that he must meet for himself to better himself, he's going to bring chaos to chaos. And what does that mean? You see that in fucking science. You didn't even need to go into physics. You didn't even need to go into any of that shit. Negative and positive ions are attracted to each other. You put two poles of different magnets, two different magnets, and they are the same poles. They will automatically repel. You're going to have toxicity. You're going to have arguments. You're going to have confusion. You're going to have a big ball of chaos. Just a big goddamn ocean, damn lake of stagnant water. That shit stinks, don't it? Just picture that. Visualize that shit. Put yourself in that shit. A pool of stagnant water. That shit stinks, to say the least. It's an understatement. But in terms of conditions, like I was saying, if man does not set these for himself, he's only going to not only bring chaos to the woman, to the feminine, he's going to try to impose them, because it's natural for a man to bring change. So if he has not become comfortable with the change in himself, which change is chaos, meaning if he is not aligned with the feminine aspect of himself, whether he thinks it's feminine or not, change is feminine. Because chaos is change. The only constant in the universe is change. That's why the birthing of a new thing, quote unquote change, comes from the portal of the woman. Yes, the man brings it about. Yes, of course. That's why the woman makes the home, the man makes the house. Because it is her. It is her at home that he seeks after all the war, after all the strife, after all the goddamn stress you go through outside of the home. What makes life worthwhile is coming home to a good woman. And not just a quote unquote good woman, a woman who supports you, a woman who understands he's doing this for me, but he's not doing this just for me. He's doing it for himself. The only reason why he can do it for me is because he's confident in going outside of his house and doing for his fucking self. He understands his environment. He understands what he must do, what he must not do. He understands his instincts. He understands his intuition. So if he meets the physical embodiment of this, which is based on his internal, what it attracts in the physical, if he understands that within himself, he's definitely not going to go against me. From what I say, that's what makes a good relationship. But from what I was saying, from what I started off, in terms of conditions, if a man, or if the masculine, or even with a woman, because women do not automatically aren't born with a man. They have to do work on themselves as well. There's certain shit that women have to, that's a woman completely feminine, disregarding her masculine nature, is not a woman. And this is not me trying to preach no philosophy or anything, because we are not, in order for us to be complements to each other, we can't be completely one thing. We are all composed of both sides. That's what the law of the universe, law of polarity is, law of gender is. It's the same spectrum, but there's two not opposing, complementary sides to it. So in dealing with conditions, dealing with that, a man must meet his own conditions, set those for himself. And that's what makes him worthwhile, to not try to impose it on a woman, not try to impose his judgment on a woman. That's why it's important to have a two-parent home, to see an example of how the polarities play on each other, deal with each other, how they complement each other, right? So most niggas who grow up in a single parent household do not know how to deal with the fucking opposing sex. Why? Because you've been what's the word? You've been exposed to one extreme of the spectrum. So when you're not exposed to here, there, okay, this is what my daddy does. I've seen him not put my mother in place, but I've seen my mother submit to his guidance. I've seen him go get the bread. I've seen her take what he does and make this man happy. Make this man want to come home. Make this man not want to cheat. Make this relationship work to the point to where we don't have to choose whether to go with him or her. We don't have to choose. We have both of them. We are exposed to both. Both can have an input on my child mind. This doesn't mean that a two-parent household will produce the perfect child, because there's, again, like I've said, there's no such thing as perfect down here. There would be no reason for you to be down here if everything was perfect. But that is the basis. That is the basis. Man, woman, child. That's in spirit as well. That's a goddamn good start. That's why all of our mythologies are Set, Asar, and Heru. We weren't saying, all right, well, Asar teaches the sun, and yeah, Set, we'll get to you later. Three, the number of creativity. But going back to conditions, how I started off in terms of unconditional love, dealing with the feminine, conditional love is based on how you meet the conditions, right, of a relationship. A relationship must be built on conditions. There must be a groundwork of how are we going to make this work? Not just like two leaves blowing in the wind, hoping to damn intertwine your little stems and hopefully grow into a fucking tree. You know what I'm saying? All right, well, you over there. Well, I think the wind is blowing this way. It was a storm. 2 days, I might see you. I know I'm familiar with this forest. Are you familiar with that? I don't know. You get what I'm saying? But like with unconditional love, like what I was saying, unconditional love, most are not familiar with that, right? Because again, conditions. And seeing that we are, especially seeing that from our ancestors, which they wrote on the walls. For example, Kemet, we're saying that this was going to be a fall. We're saying that there's no such thing as perfect. Just by the law of the universe, empires rise, empires fall. Just by that alone should show you that the gilded age of the black man, black woman, black child was not to last. And it is uncommon, just like what most would understand, and I'm preaching to the choir, understanding, especially in a cult, and dealing with dark magic, dealing with bringing out the light within yourself, and dealing with the totality of knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Not just staying stuck in one thing. Most of us, especially like what a lot of our master teachers, John Henry Clark, Sheikh Enta Diop, showed us how we felt, what the fall was. Even we were great even during the fall, but the fall consisted of what? Slavery, huge trauma. So it's an understanding that trauma was necessary. And in order for you to become great, in order for melanin, which is pure chaos, venom, in order for melanin, in order for it to go beyond, in order for dark matter to really truly realize itself, which what I said in the last episode, the universe realizing itself, it must implode. It must undergo through involution. It must involve itself in its creation. It must become so involved in itself that it must go through the bullshit called time. It must go through the bullshit called humanity. It must go through the bullshit called what? Childhood, adolescence, or puberty, adolescence, adulthood, going through the shit called life, getting hit with stress, getting hit with events here, boom, getting hit with shit, that going through the process of illusions, going through the process of ignorance, going through the process of heartache, pain, crying, long nights without sleep, going through the process, death, living in hoods to where you step out on your door, you best believe you better not look at a nigga past 2 seconds. I know we don't want to, I know niggas don't really want to get into that shit, but what we've gone through as niggas is fucking trauma. For you to think, and this is not the harp on slavery and all this shit and like black history, because it is history. It is written in quote unquote time. But to have gone through that, for our ancestors to have known that back then and still wrote it, to have known that back then, because the closer you are to source, the less tainted you are. So like what we've heard many a time before, Kemet being the what? the spiritual mouthpiece of Africa, right? That's where people across the world, everywhere across the world, especially Europe and Asia, came to learn about spirituality, came to learn about shit beyond humanity, came to learn about enlightenment, higher knowledge, something deeper than this thing we call life. For them to have known that back then, for us to have gone through it, for us to have still been going through it, to understanding of the fall. All of that shit was necessary in order for you to know yourself. So for melanin to know itself, meaning dark matter is the universe, it must be in a fucking box. This construct that we live in today. It's not just one country. But to get off the humanity, the spiritual aspect is the real war. Which is why I started off saying unconditional love. Most of us don't know that because the trauma that we've gone through has put us in separation. Which separation is the illusion. Which why a lot of us have gone through the process of thinking that separation is the norm. Or separation is the way it's supposed to be. Not only has your house been divorced, or you have seen relationship after relationship after relationship fail. Not only people around you, but you yourself, for you to think that's normal because you've seen it. Going through all of that. So in order for you to involve yourself in your creation, you have to go through certain conditions. So we go through the process of, since it's so much of a norm, we confuse conditions with what? Laws, rules, and equate it with what we see on the outside, right? Instead of understanding what's on the inside, which is basically what was stripped from you as a child. I always go back to this because what? That was when you were your most potent. That was when you were your most powerful, right? You just came from something not human. You weren't trapped. You were free. And even at your birth state, even at your closest to that state, even in a human body, you still exercised the mindset of a God, of a creator, generator, operator, destroyer. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of my creation. There's nothing beyond me. There is nothing that I cannot create. There is nothing that can create beyond me. There is nothing that my imagination cannot create for me, or I can use my imagination to create for myself. Meaning, my desires, my wants, and my needs, I do not have to look outside of myself for them. They're right fucking here. What the fuck do you think, again, a movie, Wizard of Oz, was about? What did she tell her at the end? You didn't have to go any farther than yourself. But it took the journey to know that. That's what we're doing here. But what I started off this saying, again, unconditional love. The only form of unconditional love that goes beyond humanity is your spirit. It is your spirit. Most people will label it as your higher self, the higher you, pretty much the highest version of you, right? Excuse me. That version of you that is beyond this, but that which animates you, right? That which is above you, seeing what you're going through and knowing what you're capable of. I don't know if there was this scene in Vikings. I don't know if any of you watched it. It's on Hulu. It was on the History Channel, but I think Hulu bought it out, or however they do that shit, contracts or whatever. But it's on Hulu. And of course, it's about the Vikings. It's about the Nordic culture, and it's which is our shit anyway. And it's about one of the sagas that deals with Ragnar Lothbrok, right? And it's about pretty much this dude who, I'm gonna just give you a synopsis. It's about this dude who has a vision, right? And we all know the Vikings for, you know, being able to raid, you know, pretty much raiding and just like pillaging. And they're known for, like, you know, long red hair, spears, axes, just fucking shit up. Wherever we want to go, we're taking it over. Boom. Done deal. That's us. But it deals with the period of the Vikings in terms of they were at a point to where Ragnar was seeing that we're only raiding our neighbors. We're only raiding, and of course you want to see it in there, just to put it right there. We're only raiding other poor white people, poor white trash, pretty much. We're not getting any jewels. We're not getting any gold out of it. We're raiding lands that can't even produce, which he was really focused on agriculture, farming, the next generation, pretty much. Like, all right, we can get all these jewels, but can we grow food? Can we feed our families, right? We're doing all of this just to come back to here, and we can't even eat here. So he pretty much has the vision of going west and west and west, right? And he has connections that, you know, show him that there's land to the west. Not really leading him there, but just telling him, yeah, there's shit outside of your home. And so, of course, the whole show is the progression of, like, all right, we're the Vikings. We can fuck shit up. We already know we can fight. We already know we can take over land. Let's do something bigger, right? And that's what the whole show is, like, progressing pretty much through that whole saga, particularly Ragnar's vision of how we as Vikings must go to the west in order to not just survive, but we must evolve past just this place, or else we're just going to be written in the history books as just some little civilization that used to, you know, raid their neighbors. So over the course, there's an episode, right, of Ragnar's brother who was constantly jealous of him, right? And they go through their bullshit, right? And Ragnar goes, or his brother named Rollo goes through this whole process of, you know, throughout the show, he's against his brother, for his brother, against his brother, for his brother, right? And there was a point where he was against his brother, got punished, and he really had to earn his brother Ragnar's acceptance back into his life. You know, you got to earn my trust again, right? Just like with anything, you know what I'm saying? And so he goes back into this period, right? And of course, this is during the period where, okay, he trusts his brother again or whatever, and they actually go towards more and more west. And then there's a failed raid that they have, right? And of course, there's this, in all ancient societies, most ancient societies rather, there were people called seers, and particularly in the Viking Norse mythology and Norse culture, they were seers, which basically this dude, if you see it in the show, he didn't have eyes, right? He couldn't see, which is, of course, reflecting he only sees with his pineal gland, and he deals with the gods, right? The energies, the principles that are beyond this human realm, but you can use in this realm, right? And he can really speak to, like, you know, Freya, Frigg, Loki, Odin, Thor, all of the gods in Nordic mythology, right? Get into that shit. Like, that's our shit. Really get into that shit. Especially if you have a mind towards war. Like, if you really, like, if not to get locked into Nordic mythology, like, this is me, this is yes, oh yes, but in terms of their culture was about war. Now, of course, their mythology is correspondent to our shit, because of course their shit was ours, right? We were the first everything, but at the same time, it's just in a different environment, right? But in terms of how they acted it out, yes, it's warlike. But what I was saying was, in this process, Rolo goes to the seer and he's like pretty much like, well, what the fuck else do I have to live for, right? Like we're pretty much at a not a stalemate, but a halt right now. Like, what the fuck are we doing? We're the Vikings and we couldn't raid. Like I'm really feeling down on myself. Like, what's going on? And the seer was like, if you only knew what the gods have in store for you, you would go down to the beach and dance naked, right? This is what he told Rolo, right? Which of course means like, keep the faith, trust in yourself. There's something beyond now. Like, if you don't have faith and trust in yourself now, how are you, or really not even saying it on that point. He's really saying it in a sense of encouragement. Like if you like the opposing side of like what I was saying earlier, like if in a fight, or like if you didn't get off your punches or whatever, or somebody is being snuck up upon, little did he know that he was about to get his ass beat. You know what I'm saying? Like, little did he know, like, bro, his face was about to look flat as a pancake, bro. Damn nose smushed into his damn occiput, his damn cerebellum. Like, bro, his nose and cerebellum is touching right now, my nigga. The encouraging side, the encouraging side of that, meaning like, if you only knew, I can see what you don't see, pretty much. That's what I was talking about with unconditional love spirit, right? Which is what? This is why I was saying unconditional, because conditions are order. Conditions are structure, not rigid, but pretty much the square, right? As a man dealing with the 4, which 4 is the number of the foundation, security, 10 toes down, right? The number 1 also deals with that, which is what? Looks like the obelisk, the Washington Monument, which is the erect penis of who? Osiris, the All-Father Odin, right? Same, corresponding, right? But dealing with that, what was I saying? Right, yeah, unconditional love, that's what conditions deal with. Unconditional is the feminine. Like, this is where you get that. This is where niggas in TikTok, you see these niggas in TikTok, and on Instagram Reels you can see it, and there was an audio going around at some point, probably still going around right now, with some girl. It may have been Maury, it may have been Jerry Springer, Steve Wilkos, one of them two, and may have been one of them, or Reality TV, whatever the audio came from. And the dude was asking her, like, you still gonna stick with this dude? And the woman's like, no, yep, that's my man, or whatever. I'm gonna stick beside him. That's unconditional love. Like, no matter what, I'm gonna be with him. That's what a lot of the 90s songs were about. Now, look, opinions are opinions. You got your own view, you got your own perspective. I ain't saying that's the favorite. I ain't saying that shit the best. But that was what most of it was about. Love. Like no matter what. Just listen. You wanna know what I'm talking about? Just listen to SWV. Listen to SWV and Cut Close. Listen to them two niggas. Or groups of Trois Femmes d'Egypte. Three women. 3 women speaking about, I love you, that no matter what, you will be with me, I will be with you, together we will conquer the world. Pretty much that's what sums it up. Unconditional love, right? So dealing with the human experience, you deal with fucking up, you deal with mistakes, you deal with the process of what? Shame, guilt, dealing with these feelings, these emotions of like, man, fuck, am I going in the right direction? God damn, why am I going through all of this shit? I only asked to go to this. I only asked for this. Is all of this shit necessary? Like, or dealing with the fact, like, man, feeling down on yourself, depressed, anxious, frustrated with yourself. Even in spirituality, like impatience, like what I talked about on the in the process, just going through the process, setting your intent. Hell yeah, boom. Day 1, hell yeah. Day 2, man, I'm still at it. Day 3, man, can't nothing stop me. Boom. Day 4, you get triggered. Man, fuck that nigga. Like, just ready to go, just ready to go off on everybody and anybody. Triggered. And then you go through the process. I was triggered, man. All right, boom. Then you go through the point of like, man, fuck, man. Unconditional love is no matter what your human condition is, no matter what your human experience is, no matter how bad you think it is for yourself, you have something in store for you. Nobody has something in store for you. There's no God outside of yourself like, oh my God, oh my creation. Oh man, oh, I'm gonna just pick you up and I'm gonna just put you on here like you some damn pawn on a damn checkers or chessboard. You know what I'm saying? Or whatever. You are in control of you. You choices, causes and effects. But your spirit is that which animates you to go through this process to lead you to your a higher version, a higher and higher and higher version of yourself. Vibrating higher. The slower your vibration, the slowest vibration is humanity. That's why you had to drop down to the bottom to realize the top. If you were always at the top, there would be no need for you to understand the bottom. The top of the food chain only understands it's the top of the food chain because it knows that there's something weaker than it. There's something that cannot escape its natural skills, its natural instincts, its grasp, whatever skills it has, whatever it has evolved to be to climb that chain, right? So unconditional love is spirit, which reflects the feminine energy. Why? How does spirit speak through you? Through feelings, through emotions, through hunches, through urges, through the gut feeling. Oh man, nope. That don't feel right. Nope. It's something about it. It just don't feel right. Something beyond logic, beyond rationale. Which, if you think about it, think about the last time that you've had a gut feeling and you've actually been right. Doesn't that make you feel like the most powerful being? Like you don't have to explain. You don't have to write a report. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to break down and do bullet points and just the whole patriarchal man thing. Like, don't get me wrong, man has his place. But doesn't that feel good to not have to explain yourself? Like just to keep it real, if you go through arguments, you go through debates, and you get to the point to where like, I don't need to, like, have you ever been at that point? Ask yourself, have you ever been at that point to where you've been arguing with a certain person or whatever, and you've gone through an experience to where like you elevate beyond that certain perspective, like I need to be going back and forth with this nigga or whatever, but it's that situation presents itself to you again, and you go through the process of actually starting to go back and forth, and you stop midway and be like, you know what? Nope. Don't need to do it. You right. Yep. I understand. Yep. No. I understand. No. Yep. You're right. I understand. Yep. Correct the mundo. Yep. Right along with you. Even going so far as to explain more. Explain your side. I don't have to defend myself. Defending yourself is a part of the explanation. Defending yourself is a part of the validation, verifying, justifying. Through that explanatory process, that links you down to humanity. Why? Because dealing with social programming and just the idea behind, all right, we must do this. Guys, get in line. Lips and hips. Guys, quiet now. No. Some people want to hear this. What you learned about in high school, elementary school, middle school, even college. Going through all these environments. Guys, quiet now. We're not gonna go further until you guys be quiet. Gentlemen, if you can't be quiet, you can have that conversation out in the hallway. Shit like just rules, laws, and all this shit in general is fucking just that's stress in itself. Like, don't get me wrong, it's order to have like to put yourself in a position to where like, all right, I need a routine. I need to work towards something. This is a goal. There are steps to goals. We are in time. Therefore, I must have structure. I must plan. I must prepare for that which I aim to align with, vibrate with, right? And so there is a place for order. Don't get me wrong. There is a place for logic and rationale. Don't get me wrong. But when it comes to spirituality, you feel the most powerful in the place where you don't have to explain yourself. So unconditional love from your spirit when don't go this way. Eat pizza. Yes, you're vegan. Yes, you're vegetarian. Go to Pizza Hut. Go to Papa John's. Go sit your ass down in CC's and grab the cinnamon pizza. Yes, don't get the water cup. Go mix some damn Mountain Dew with some pink lemonade right the fuck now. Don't ask no question. Just do it. And you go on the other side and you realize why you went that way, bruh. The more and more you familiarize yourself with that language, the more and more you familiarize yourself and you accept that as a part of your life, not only as a part of your lifestyle, as your mindset. You feeling like you need to explain and justify your shit is putting you in that beginning stage of your humanity. Let me say that again. You needing to justify and explain yourself is putting you in that beginning stage of your humanity. Why? And what did I say? The closer you are to the source of it, of whatever it is, the more potent it is, right? Like what I said in the last minute, like the more potent the information and knowledge that you're going to gather is source information from the source, not playing telephone. The closer you can get to the source is the most potent, original, untainted, right? But dealing with humanity, the beginning of your humanity started when you were told, no, you can't do that. No, you can't go there. No, you have to be home before the street lights come on. No, or by the street lights coming on. No, you cannot eat that. No, you can't talk to her. No, you can't talk to him. No, you can't do that. Just the two letters no. Being a creator, being a God, and incarnating into humanity. Having the natural mindset to where everything is yes at my command. And you get a fucking no consistently, constantly, and there's nothing you can do about it as a child because what? This is made up of gathering resources. You must have money. You must have a job. You must have a GED. You must have a master's. You must have a bachelor's in this. You must be at least 18. Helpless. Helpless as a fucking child. So to be told no, that at the beginning, that is the beginning, that is the start where you started to feel the most frustrated. That is the source. That is the source. So that was when you started to explain yourself. So when you were free and acting chaotically in class, free with your friends, making jokes, being a class clown, chewing bubblegum and popping it loud, not giving a fuck, not taking notes, just doing your own thing while you're at school. Then all of a sudden you get a call home. Or not even a call home, you get a strike or a demerit from your teacher. Then you feel like, okay, since I'm being called out, why is everybody else not being called out? That's where your explanations, justifications, your helplessness starts. So in order to deal with that, You have to deal with that part of you that needs no explanation. That instinctual, intuitive part of you. That imaginative part of you. Because you don't... Look. Even if... Look. Just to keep it real. Your imagination. Which is how you get the fuck out of this. Your visualization. I walk by faith and not by sight. That's what that means. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Just take that portion alone. The evidence of things not seen. Even without my two eyes, like the seer in Vikings, I still fucking know. I don't have to describe how it looks. I don't have to tell you how it sounds. I don't even have to tell you what it tastes like, how it feels. I know. And not to prove to anybody else, but rather you're proving it to yourself. Because remember, there's two sides to you that's going on. That's the war. It's your spiritual side versus your human side. The only battle that you should be fighting, the only thing that you should be trying to not eliminate, but put in its fucking place is your fucking ego, is your fucking humanity. Putting it in its place, because no matter how long you live, you're still going to be a human until you die. So you can't... Getting rid of humanity, killing humanity is pretty much a cop-out. Because it would be suicide. That's how you would get rid of humanity. That's how you would get rid of the human voice. Just kill yourself. Just take a steak knife, cut from one side of your neck to the other one. Just go ahead and do it. But that's the cop-out. The true warriors, the true gods, understand what that is and is not afraid of his voice. Understands the voice of the ego. Understands the voice of humanity. Seeks to understand why the fuck I chose to be a human. What part of humanity in me must I dispel? What part of the illusion must I dispel within myself? And deal with that conversation every single fucking day. How do I deal with it? Reprogramming my mind. Getting back in touch with my imagination, my intuition, my creative abilities, my mindset of there's nothing that can stop me. Not no fear, not no doubt, not no past relationship, not how my mama treated me, forgive her. Not how my daddy treated me, forgive him. Not how my siblings, no matter how. That's why I was saying earlier. That's why we had to go through every single fucking thing. Skin, being lynched, skin, being made into purses, shoes. Still got pictures of it to this day being tossed across the web. Niggas getting raped. Motherfucker. Sons fucking their mothers in front of the master. What else could you possibly go through? What else could you possibly go through worse as a nigga? That's what our ancestors knew. In order to know yourself. 10 toes down, fresh from the start. Okay, we the niggas. We the best. But this can't last. We're going to have to go through some bullshit. What else could you possibly go through that could be worse than what you've already gone through? Niggas getting raped by their family members. Let's just keep it real. Nobody likes to talk about this. There's niggas that I've seen, just me personally, even in the quote unquote conscious community, that have come out and said, my mother molested me. My daddy fingered me. Just keeping it real. This shit is, nobody likes to talk about it. Why? Because it creates discomfort. Discomfort is a feeling you must deal with no matter what. It's an emotion you must deal with. In order to come into light, you must deal with it. You went through it. It happened. And in order for you to deal with it, you must familiarize yourself with unconditional love. Unconditional love is represented by what? 4. The heart chakra, right? The 4th chakra. If you're dealing with 7 chakras, the middle point. The middle point. That's why Jesus on the cross was nailed in his hands and in his feet. 4. Two feet, 2 hands. But even if you want to deal with 3, 1 on the bottom and 2 on the sides, that's still with 3 being creativity. I must be crucified over and over and over again, programming into myself, mother, woman, child, mother, woman, child, the family of my mind. That is what I'll die for. That is what I'm here for, to understand not just the masculine, the mother, not just to understand the father, to understand the childlike mind. Because the mother and father were children at one point. That's why you've seen this in a lot of fucking movies. For example, I don't know if y'all get in the bond. Of course, yes, okay, we can get on white supremacy, showing, okay, like, you know, Jack Reacher, you know, always wanting a white hope, always wanting to show the white man as a, you know, superior figure. Superman, we can get into all of that, but plenty of niggas done talked about that. It's beyond human shit. But you want to see it in movies, you see that, for example, in Skyfall. Skyfall dealt with James Bond going into the he had to deal with his, not only his earlier days as a spy, but also his childhood. That movie dealt with him going back to his home, which he was of course left an orphan. Or The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, which is a crime series in Swedish. There's three movies on it, 3 main movies before they started making the American versions. But the main movies, The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, The Girl Who Played with the Fire, The Girl Who Kicked the Hornet's Nest. Mikhail Blomkvist, who is a journalist who pretty much exposes a lot of people corrupt, you know, getting away with murder and siphoning, you know, money, you know, laundering money, shit like that. And of course, he's hired to become a, you know, a journalist for this not tycoon, but this rich family, who just so happened his niece went missing on the day of the parade across a bridge, and his family he doesn't trust his family, which he has a big family, which just so happened the dude, Mikhail, he was babysat by the girl that he was hired to look for. And throughout the whole series, well, that movie especially, he's going back into his childhood. He's always flashing back to his childhood when he was babysat. The good memories, the bad memories. Bond in the same movie, he had to understand, my mama and daddy was an orphan. Oh, this was where I went at home. You see this in a lot of movies where they flash back to their childhood. They flash back either to a strong moment in their childhood or a weak moment in their childhood in order to gain power, to remember, yes, this is where I've been, but this is where I'm going to be. This is what I'm going to become. So yes, I'm gonna end it with that. Unconditional love, right? Unconditional love. The unconditional love comes from your spirit. And the more and more you're in tune with your spirit, your higher self, whatever you want to fucking call it, that which animates you, that which speaks in your mind. Oh man, I knew that was right, man. I knew to go that way. Why didn't I go that way? The more and more you trust that aspect of yourself, of your mind, the more and more you understand the feminine, the more and more you understand the source, the more and more you understand. And that's the thing. because that's why the media and everything is so built towards pulling on what? Your heartstrings, your emotions. You're just pulling you because your emotions is your energy in motion. So that's why a lot of shit is set up just for you to feel the way that it is designed for you to feel. Because what is to feel? What would I do if I could? The Tin Man. Scarecrow was the consciousness. The lion, the higher mind. The lion was the 3 lower chakras dealing with your human shit. But the middle point was, in order for me to deal with the lower and the top, I must be able to feel. If I don't understand feelings, I cannot connect with anyone, not even myself. This is why the Jesus doctrine, this is why the original, what the Gnostics were talking about, really living the shit. Not this whole, this nigga walked the earth, the mythology, the story. This is what it represented. This is why it was teaching compassion, empathy. Because you can only have compassion and empathy for others if you've shown that to your fucking self. If you've shown that to yourself, like, I went through this. I fucked up. I didn't know any better. I only acted out based on what I knew. If you understand this side of yourself and you constantly, every single fucking time it comes up, no matter what, I'm gonna love myself. I'm gonna understand that was a part of the process. I would not be here today. You are the summation of all the days behind you. What else could you fucking be? What else could you fucking be but what you went through? Not the product of your environment, not all these bullshit statements that they put out for you to program yourself with. Just to keep it real, what the fuck did I go through? How did I feel? How did it make me feel? After I felt that, how did I respond to it? What similar circumstances in my life were like this? Do I feel the same way? Do I still react the same way? What the fuck can I do about it now? It ain't about asking nobody what it ain't about going. Now, of course, yes, a part of the process is apologizing. A part of it is saying sorry. A part of it is hugging, embracing, getting back in touch. You know what I'm saying? Loving, get in contact with your mother, your father, your siblings. I didn't mean it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your path is. But that's compassion. And the only way you can have it is if you have unconditional love for yourself. If you are not familiar with that voice, if you are not familiar with that aspect of yourself, you will constantly feel like everything is a fucking threat. Everything is out to get you. I have to look over my shoulder. There's something coming for me, always. Whatever I achieve, there's something always trying to take my spot. Whatever I need, want, and desire, I have to fight for it. I have to struggle for it. I have to toil for it. If you keep thinking like that, there is no progress. What I said earlier, stagnant fucking water. And that shit stinks. That shit fucking stinks. I can't stress that enough. That shit stinks. There are smells worse. But there's a whole lot of shit that smells better than that shit. Unconditional love, man. Like, it can't be found anywhere but in yourself. And it speaks through the feminine aspects of yourself. How do you feel? Your gut feeling, that which does not require knowledge, justification, rationale. If you are not in touch with how you feel at any given moment, you're going to what? Have an overemphasis on the masculine, which is what? Logic, rationale, trying to explain everything, trying to break everything down. And this is where you get a lot of niggas. This is where you get a lot of people on YouTube, on TV, in the media, trying to collect information just for the sake of putting another nigga down. Collecting information, reading knowledge, getting into something. Oh yes, this is good. Just to debate somebody, just to argue with somebody, just to prove somebody wrong. What the fuck does that even do? That bitch, that nigga that you wanted to fight in high school, you didn't get to fight him. Every time you think about it, if only I would have just gave him a 2-piece. If only I could pull that bitch hair out. What the fuck does it do for you now? Like, none of that shit even matters, bro. Like, let that shit fall by the wayside. And how do you do that? Releasing it through unconditional love for yourself. You have to release putting conditions, overemphasizing conditions. Now, of course, yes, boundaries are part of the process of loving yourself. Once you understand what you need, what you desire, what you want, what your purpose is, what your spirit is leading you towards, you're going to have to set up some, not traps. You're going to have to set some, in order for me to take part in this, I need you to do this. Reciprocity, a cycle, not something that's one directional. What is one directional? Masculine. Again, this is not me saying, again, just fuck the masculine. Fuck niggas. Not even spreading that niggas ain't shit rhetoric. This is dealing with energy. This is dealing with something beyond the physical. This is dealing with thought patterns, limiting beliefs, fucking cages, limits on how you think, limits on what you think you can achieve, but not what you think you can achieve, what you deserve. This is why, and we gonna end with this. This is why the root chakra deals with, I'm safe, I'm secure, I can take care of my own needs. Do I have to look outside of myself for my needs? Do I have to fight for my needs? Because when you feel like you have to fight for something, when you feel like you just have to just keep debating, keep arguing, keep punching, keep throwing fists everywhere, when you feel like you keep having to do that, some part of you feels like you don't deserve it. Or you've been made to believe by external influences, I must not deserve this. I want it, but something is telling me I don't deserve this. So I have to fight to keep it. You don't have to fight to get what you deserve. You just have to be that which you deserve. See it in your mind, whatever it is. I'm strong. I am strong. I am strong in every situation. Not because weak is being wrong, but strength is how a God works itself out, works its power out. Not by force, not by dictatorship, shit like that. Exercising strength in a situation. No matter what I go through, I can stay strong. Not trying to replace, quote unquote, I'm using for example, a woman. Not trying to, a strong black woman is not an independent black woman. And I'm not trying to really keep going into the social shit, because I'm not trying to tell niggas what they should do, but just the energy of it and the conversation behind it. A strong black, and I'm only speaking on femininity, the feminine energy. A strong black woman is not an independent black woman, but a black woman who's independent and can think for herself knows what man she deserves, knows what she needs, what she wants, what she needs to feel secure, is accepting of guidance. Therefore, she's not trying to be too overly independent to what, you know what, I'm going to be the man and the woman. That's why what I was saying, and that's why, ignorant of it, niggas have gone through that, because that's what it was, everybody was forced into. Most niggas see that. That's the situations, that's the circumstances. Your daddy not in the house, I gotta do everything. If I'm not getting child support from him, I gotta do everything. The relationship didn't work out, I gotta do everything. So it's an overemphasis. You're here to understand. You're here to understand the other side of you. Compliment, because there's no coincidence that you chose to be a fucking gender. You are to understand that other half of you, not because there's a void in you, not because you constantly need something to fill you. You constantly, like overeating. You constantly just need a fix every single fucking time. It's just a part of your path. But that is a part of the path. Understanding the spectrum. A man cannot understand what a man is unless he has something to prove himself for. A woman cannot understand who she is unless she has something to support. She is automatically the receiving end. But if she is not open to something willing to give her what she needs, she can't understand herself. A man, if he is not prepared to deal with an emotional woman, someone who feels by nature, if he is not prepared to deal with something that's not supposed to go out here and be fighting everybody, who's not built for stress like he is, if he's looking for himself, go fuck another nigga in the asshole. Just keep it real. Which you've heard, which is a form of, I remember Phil Valentine touching on this, a form of narcissism. But, which, like I said early on, like forces repel. Basic science, basic chemistry, basics, fundamentals. The fundamentals are the closest thing to the source. The more complex you try to make shit, the more you try to explain shit, again, the more you try to unpack shit. Don't get me wrong. There is a part of the process of teaching, explaining, breaking shit down so people can understand, take from it what they need. Get a lot and take, well, oh yeah, I heard that, boom. I don't need to listen to all that, or I don't need to remember all that, boom. That's what I needed. That's a form of individuality and adding on to creativity. Individuality is 5. Creativity is 3. 5 plus 3 is 8. 8 is what? The symbol for infinity. Eternal. This is what you dealt with in Suicide Squad, the starfish. Out of that central eye came a whole bunch of just seeds. Little mini starfish. Out of that one mini. But we're going to get off of that. Just unconditional love. Unconditional love for yourself. That's how you grow. That's how you die. That's how you die. That's how you die. That's all this is about. Getting out of here. Preparing to not come back. Not because you're scared of here. Like Earth is the worst place you can come to in terms of humanity and the lowest form of vibration, but not being like, oh man, I just got to get the fuck out of here without understanding why. Like I said earlier, that you want to get out of here, just kill yourself. just stick it right in your heart, right in the back of your throat. Take a gun right to the head. But this is for those niggas that are trying to understand why and are trying to listen to themselves. Because you are the one that wakes up to you every single day. You are the one that has to go to sleep every single day. You are the one in the bed, escaping sleep, postponing sleep, scrolling through Instagram, social media, just to escape the thoughts that you have in your mind. Out of all the work you done ate for the day, you done got in the shower, you done dealt with the people at work. You're in the bed now, under your covers, plush pillows. Thoughts come in your head. Whose thoughts are those? Unconditional love for yourself is how you deal with whatever you got going on, whatever you feel in yourself, whatever you see in yourself, whatever you find out about yourself. That's how you deal with it. That's how you interface with it. That's how you approach it. And that's how you go beyond it. No matter how long it takes to get out of it, no matter how long the process is. Remember, for you, whatever stage you came into being conscious or awoke, aware of yourself, aware of what you need to do, aware of you need to understand yourself. You need to put that much effort in. You need to reprogram that much effort into yourself because you were going years upon years, situation after situation. Just look at how much shit can happen within a month. Look at how much shit can happen within a week. That's why everybody lives for the weekend. I can't wait till fucking Friday and Saturday. Sunday, oh my God. Well, fuck, I got to go back to work on Monday. But goddamn, when I get off work on Friday, shit. Get past this rush hour traffic, shit. What the fuck we doing tonight? Saturday, I ain't got to work, shit. We might goddamn throw us a damn day party. What the fuck? Why do you? Because it's a lot of, it's experience after experience after experience. Emotion after emotion after emotion. How much do you think that shit is programmed into you? You must love yourself unconditionally. Which is why in every one of our cultures we emphasize the divine feminine, specifically the great mother. Because there's nothing like a mother's love. No matter if your mother didn't love you, you still understand a mother's love. You've heard it, a mother's love. There's nothing like it. Yes, your dad can hug you. Yes, your dad can kiss you on the forehead. I love you, little nigga. Love you, son. Love you, baby girl. That's love too. That is love too. We're not taking away from us men. But a woman's love, a mother's love, there's nothing like it. There's no safe feeling. There's no security like a mother's love. That's the only way you can get out of this shit. If you do not love yourself, who the fuck has to love you? Just to keep it real. Let's just get out of here. The unconditional love. Love yourself. Unconditionally love yourself. No matter what.